Buenas noches. Mi nombre es Sumiyo Umekawa, and I am honored to have this opportunity to talk to you. I'm going to talk about Fangzhongshu, the art of bed chamber. It is a series of Chinese traditional sexual technique which is often discussed in relation with Yangsheng or Chinese medicine on one hand, but also studied from Taoist perspectives on the other, because the technique is very often categorized under transcendental techniques.
As I've told you, some people conceive sexual art as medical techniques, whereas others regarded it as Taoistic. Moreover, because of the bad reputations, some people didn't want their techniques to be regarded as a sexual art. So, in this speech, I use the word Chinese sexual art to indicate any technique which attempts to achieve one of the following goals through sexual activities. The goals are the maintenance and the improvement of the health, the prevention and the healing of the illness, attainment of longevity, immortality, and transcendenthood, and procreation. It should be noted that all of them sometimes has religious connotations. Chinese sexual art has its theoretical basis in the idea of qi. In accordance with this idea, our life is equal to the body, which is consisted of the entity called qi. When qi gathers, the life starts, while when the last bit of qi is gone, the life ends. So, if you can keep supplying qi into your body, you can live long, and if you can do it forever, immortality is theoretically possible. In this sense, Chinese sexual art can be regarded as the technique to control qi. For the qi control, there are three important points in the sexual art, namely the preservation of your own qi, the adaptation of external qi, especially from the sex partner, and the circulation of your own qi and the adapted one within the body. The qi within the body is basically invisible, but when it becomes visible, it always takes a form of liquid. So, sweat, urine, saliva, runny nose, blood, semen, and female secretions, all of them are the visible forms of qi in the body. Amongst many different watery qi, semen is regarded as the most precious one for men. As semen ejaculated at the orgasm, women also supposed to emit female most precious qi at the sexual climax. As semen is released from the lower part, women are also supposed to discharge the best qi from the lower part. Thus, female secretion at the orgasm should have been regarded as the most precious qi for women. Then, the preservation of the qi in the sexual art indicates you have to have sex as much as possible, but you do not have to achieve the orgasm when you have it. Meanwhile, the adaptation of qi suggests you have to bring your sexual partner to the climax. The final circulation is supposed to be done through breathing, eating, and sometimes meditational methods. Now let's go back to the 8 goals. Amongst these 8, the first 7 goals are theoretically achievable through the preservation, adaptation, and the circulation of qi. You preserve and adapt the qi as a source of life and use them only for you. However, the 8th goal is different. For the procreation, you and your sex partner have to offer your precious qi for the creation of the 3rd life. Probably because of this technical difference, the art for procreation is usually dealt a bit differently from other methods. Chinese sexual art, having yin and yang theory as its pillar, regards complete harmony between a man and a woman indispensable. Thus, the manuals warn you, if either of a man or a woman is not willing to have sex in the slightest, you should not have sex. if you dare, it is not only not beneficial but also harmful. So, in accordance to the sexual art, what you have to do first is to have mutual and complete agreement to have sex. Then you have to do mental or emotional unification. It is only after the completion of this unification that you can move on to the third stage. On the third stage, both a man and a woman should prepare their bodies through kissing and petting. The insertion of the penis is only allowed when the male penis is appropriately ejaculated and a woman's secretion flows out enough. Having mentioned about the pleasure principle, I believe that sexual art conceives orgasm with a great concern and importance. Chinese sexual tradition, in my opinion, have three phases. Preaching the earliest phase, medical phase from Han to the end of the Tang, in which sex manuals were understood, at least by elite Chinese, in relation with medicine, and Taoist phase, from the Song onward, in which they were basically placed under Taoistic section. It doesn't mean there is no Taoistic manual during the medical phase, or there is no medical manual during the Taoist phase. The words medical or Taoistic just refer to the rough understandings of the art in each era. There are, however, several differences amongst each phase. For instance, the method for procreation in the earliest phase was quite magico-medical, like you can change the sex of infant if you eat caterpillar. The sex of the offspring continued to be concerned greatly during the following two phases as well, but during the medical phase, the biological sexual difference was started to be understood more scientifically and related with the menstrual period. At the final Taoistic phase, it was connected with the timing of orgasm. In this final phase, the timing of orgasm also started to be linked with the successful insemination. So, I am going to introduce you two methods in which orgasm plays a very important role. One is rather medical method, while the other can be Taoistic. The first example is 7 harms and 8 benefits. You can find the phrase in Chinese classic medical texts, 黄帝内经, although the meaning had been remained in mystery. It turned out to be the phrase related with sexual art when sex manuals of medical phase were rediscovered in Japan. Furthermore, it was found out to help in methods relating with qi when the earliest sex manuals were excavated from Mawandui tombs. The phrase in the earliest sex manual were 7 harmful actions on the day you have sex, and 8 beneficial acts, those which would double up the amount of qi you can get through sexual activities. But in the medical phase manuals, there were 7 sexual postures which cure 7 bad conditions, as well as 8 sexual positions which improve men's health conditions. Today, we are going to concentrate on medical phase version. Both the 7 postures and the 8 postures tell us the positioning as well as the manner to have sex in each posture. For instance, the first damage in the 7 posture is named as cessation of qi, of which causation is unwilling sex. The symptoms of this damage are sweat, decrease of qi, heat in the heart, and dizziness. You can heal this damage through a sex in a posture like this, with deep insertion until the female partner achieves to the climax. For another instance, the first posture in the 8 posture is like this. If you have a sex in this posture and have 18 times of insertion, you would gain the benefit called to congeal male energy. The important difference between the 7 and the 8 is when you finish the sexual session. In the case of 7 postures in which a man in bad condition practices, the criterion to end the session is when a woman reaches orgasm, whereas in the 8 postures, you finish the act in accordance with the number of insertion. In short, when a man is in bad condition, woman's orgasm is required. It would be interesting to note the 8 postures in which women do not have to give out the most precious qi are also used as methods to cure bad condition of women. For instance, the posture to congeal male energy can heal female excess of menstruation. In this case, however, you have to have your sex in a position with 18 insertions twice a day, and you have to continue 2 sexual sessions a day for 15 days. Having sex might have been regarded to arouse one's internal qi. If so, having continual sexual activities without emitting the best qi may increase or stimulate the qi within a female body, which eventually results in the healing and well woman.
Hoping that I will read someone's work on it, I finish my speech today. Thank you for inviting me.